Hey there, everybody. Chris here from the Nerd is the Word podcast, here just with a little special update for you guys. I know there hasn't really been much out on the feed recently. We've been kind of busy around here, and it's been hard between us working and school to try and both of us sit down and record an actual episode. So, in the meantime, I don't want to leave you guys hanging, so I've devised a new formula for the show. And the way this is going to work is that we're going to try and at least get one episode of The Nerd is the Word out to you guys a month. Now, don't worry, because the feeds aren't going to be completely dead, because what I'm going to do instead is, a lot of people have been asking for this, is that I'm going to offer right here now a new video every week that we don't have The Nerd is the Word. And so when we don't have a Nerd is the Word episode, you'll have one of these videos, which I am dubbing the Guide to Nerd Culture. So that all those people that may not be as extremely nerdy as Ashley and myself can ask all those questions that have been on your mind about different terms that we may throw a while, and I will explain them here for you guys so that you will fully understand and you can inject it into your speech from now on. And not only that, if you've got any questions about the internet and all, like what is Facebook? Why would I want to get on Twitter? What is that? This, that, and the other. All these different things. Ask me any sort of question. Anything related with nerds, internet, technology, whatever. Ask the question. I'll answer it here. I'll give you visual cues on the screen all over here. Thus the video portion. But all you got to do is just send your questions to the nerdistheword at gmail.com. Title it like Nerd Culture 101 or Guide to Nerd Culture, something like that, so I know it's not for the Nerd is the Word show. So, for the first episode of the Guide to Nerd Culture, I got two questions I'm going to answer. First question is, what in the world makes me an expert in all this? I, all the time on the internet, proclaim to be a self-proclaimed professor of nerdology and geekology. No one's really challenged me on this, probably because those say people know who I am. But I have been a nerd forever. I taught myself how to read when I was like 4. So I was like already ahead of everybody else in kindergarten when they were reading. So I was a standard bookworm nerd for a good long portion of time. Then I got introduced to video games and this, that, and the other. That just accelerated my geekiness. And then once we hit college, it just like exponentially increased to all these different avenues and all these different ways. I'm not an expert in any one little facet of nerddom. I like to consider myself a jack of all nerds, which means I've done a little bit in everything. I've done role-playing games. I've done a little bit of, I got the video games, the MMOs, the Farmville stuff. You got, let's see, books, movies, TV shows. I've done a lot of things, obviously podcasting and that sort of thing. So I have about 2 decades worth of experience in most nerdy things. So I may not know all the answers, but I know where you can get them. And I can give you a broad overview of most of these things. So don't ask me like really technical computer related questions. I can't fix your computer for you. I'm sorry. But I can tell you where to go to fix your computer if you are having trouble with it. So just to give you kind of perspective on what kinds of questions we'll go ask. All right. So that's that. And now we'll move on to phase 2. My second question will be, how do I subscribe to a podcast? I know a lot of people go on the website and listen to my shows on there, and they hear me talk about subscribing to the show, and they may be wondering, well, how do I do that? So now we're going to look at that right now. All right, so here's a picture of my desktop. And as you see, we're going to start off I'm assuming you have iTunes. So if you have iTunes, you launch up iTunes, like right here as I'm showing you. Scroll over here onto the left-hand side to the iTunes Store, and you want to click on that. Then up here in the search box, you want to type in the name of the show. So, for instance, in this case, we're going to type in "The Nerd is the Word." So then you click Enter, and your search results will display. And voila, look, the first one, "The Nerd is the Word." And you'll see there's a subscribe button. And when you do that, this little box says, "Do you want to subscribe?" And then, yes, you click subscribe. I've already subscribed to it, so I'm going to click cancel. So that's that. Now, I'm going to bring up my browser. We're going to go to my Wayne website. So this is for any other devices that you may have, if you want to subscribe to them that way. So here's my website. If you scroll down, keep going. Let's find an actual episode. So see, here you go. This is where a lot of you may be listening to it and clicking on the play button. But if you scroll back up to the top and you click this little orange button, it will bring up the RSS feeds. These are the actual addresses that iTunes pulls from to pull my shows. So if you take those, we'll just assume you have iTunes again. You go to Advanced and subscribe to Podcast. You just copy and paste one of these URLs and then paste it in here and click OK. So that's one way of doing it. You can also find other ways of just if you have other MP3 devices, they should have a URL input. You'll do it something similar like that. So there you go. There's your 2 questions for this week. So like I said, if you want me to answer any questions that you may have, send any and all questions to thenerdistheword@gmail.com. Or you can ask me them on Twitter at twitter.com/ChrisTheProf. Just do kind of a hashtag nerd101 or something like that so I know it's for the show. You could send me questions that way. Make sure you listen to The Nerd is the Word and all the other shows we have at 1.21studios.com. And until next week, I will see you guys, and happy nerding. Blah. I can't talk. So I'll see you guys next week, and until then, nerd out, you guys. Peace out, and nerd out. There we go.